Mother-in-law. As sweet and appealing as that word is, I think many of us should admit to ourselves that we are less than saints who dare not even appreciate the shape of a mother-in-law. It's all because the media propaganda about how we should live our lives, what to fear and be feared like fire, is doing its job. But let's be honest, for many of us, a mother-in-law is no less desirable and attractive than the most beloved wife. I am now 32 years old, married and madly in love with my other half. But I remember my first adventures with my mother-in-law with trepidation and a sinking heart. And now, as my wife Emily went to the hospital for her usual night shift, I, for what seemed like the millionth time, sitting comfortably on our marital bed, began to remember how our relationship with Lisa, my mother-in-law, first began. Surprisingly, she never minded that name. On the contrary, she was always enthusiastic and blossomed when I called her that. So, being only 15 years older than me, my mother-in-law always thought of herself as young and beautiful. The age difference is quite small, and I was okay with that kind of trusting relationship, as if we were each other's true friends. I kept my secret desires and fantasies to myself, of course. Even though her age was steadily approaching retirement age, she still had a magnificent figure. There was not a gram of excess weight on her, because Lisa considered it her duty to keep herself in shape and daily exercise. As now I remember that very day with my mother-in-law. At that time, Lisa was cooking dinner for me. My wife was at work. It was hot, and on such days, Lisa dressed simply and very lightly, not torturing herself with extra clothes. My mother-in-law asked something, but I did not hear, because I was looking at this beauty again. Then I told her a typical work story, and Lisa laughed quietly, looking out the window. Then she fell silent, and I didn't know what to say, so I stayed silent too. A moment later, I thought I heard a sob. I looked at her face. Her eyes wouldn't stop flowing, and I found nothing better to do than pull her to me. She was crying against my chest, and I put my arms around her shoulders and felt her whole body shudder. Then she told me how lonely she was and how bad it was without a man. I don't know what came over me, but the situation threw me completely off balance. We stood with our arms around each other, and I stroked her back affectionately. She wouldn't calm down, and then I did what seemed like the only right thing to do. I pulled the crying Lisa away from my chest, looked into her eyes, and kissed her. Lisa reciprocated, and then we went to the kitchen. Afterwards, she said to me, "I hope, son-in-law, you will continue to comfort me like this, because I am a lonely woman, and without a man. Oh, how hard it is." I smiled and replied, "To you, Lisa, I am always ready to help." I then assured her of my silence, and she contentedly went into the shower. Since then, my mother-in-law and I have become very close and live as one big and happy family.